Want to speak real Greek from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at GreekPod101.com. Trying to learn Greek? You need a GreekPod101.com free lifetime account. It's one of the most powerful language learning tools you can command, and signing up takes less than 7 seconds. So what exactly do you get that makes it so special? First, new lessons are published every week, and you get them for free. Enjoy learning with fun and effective audio and video lessons with real teachers. Make the most of your study time as our teachers help you hack Greek and get you speaking in minutes. Second, free instant access to the first 3 lessons of every lesson series. Explore and try any lesson series that interests you, from beginner to advanced. Find teachers you love and lessons for your goals. Third, learn Greek anywhere, anytime with the free companion app. Download it now for free for the iPhone, iPad, or any Android device, and have instant access to your free lifetime account and lessons anywhere, anytime. Fourth, boost your vocabulary with the free word of the day. Every day, receive 1 new word in your inbox that you can master in seconds. Want even more words? 5. Get complete access to our word and phrase lists. Wow native Greek speakers with cool topical and seasonal words and phrases from our lists. And finally, number 6, the best for last. 7 days of unlimited access to our entire library of audio and video lessons. Premium study tools like line-by-line audio, word bank, and smart flashcards to help you learn lightning fast. Get your free lifetime account right now at GreekPod101.com. Sign up in less than 7 seconds. And the account is yours for free for life. So what are you waiting for? Get yours now.
Hi everyone, this is Stefania from GreekPod101.com. This is a top words video, and the topic for this lesson is 10 questions you should know. These are good icebreaker questions that you can ask when speaking casually to someone or that others can ask you. So let's start. Πώς σε λένε? What's your name? There are a few ways you can ask someone's name in Greek, but the most common one is πώς σε λένε? Πώς σε λένε? What's your name? If your name is Stella, you can answer by saying με λένε Stella. My name is Stella. Basically, it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. You can always use the part με λένε and just add your name the way you pronounce it in your language. What I mean is that you don't convert it to a Greek name. I say this because many of you ask me, what's my name in Greek? Some names do have an equivalent, usually Christian names such as George or Catherine. But to be honest, it's best to just use your name as it is. Τι κάνεις? How are you? Let's move on to the next question, which is, I think, the most frequently used in everyday life, and that is τι κάνεις? How are you? Τι κάνεις? You can use it when you meet someone, when you are talking on the phone, or when you are texting someone. Sometimes Greeks don't even say hi and jump straight to τι κάνεις or op, τι κάνεις? That op is an exclamation like hey. A common and polite answer to this is καλά, ευχαριστώ. I'm fine, thanks. Τι κάνεις? Καλά, ευχαριστώ. Από πού είσαι? Where are you from? Από πού είσαι? Where are you from? If someone asks this question to you, then they probably want to know which country you're from. If you're in Greece and you ask one of the locals, then they will probably tell you which city, town, or island they are from. For example, είμαι από την Αθήνα. I'm from Athens. Πότε είναι τα γενέθλιά σου? When is your birthday? Πότε είναι τα γενέθλιά σου? When is your birthday? Πότε είναι τα γενέθλιά σου? If your birthday is, say, on the 25th of April, You can say είναι στις 25 Απριλίου. It's on the 25th of April. You will always need to use the prepositional article stis before the day of the month, except if you were born on the first day of the month. In that case, you need to say την πρώτη, meaning on the first. That's because you need the singular and not the plural. Πού μένεις? Where do you live? Πού μένεις? Where do you live? It's good to wait a little before asking this question, otherwise people might think you're being indiscreet. A typical answer would be μένω στο Ηράκλειο. I live in Heraklion. Here the article στο might vary, depending on the city or location, as it will always have to match the gender of that word. Πού δουλεύεις? Where do you work? Πού δουλεύεις? Where do you work? Πού δουλεύεις? Another question that might sound a bit indiscreet. Perhaps asking first, με τι ασχολείσαι? What's your occupation? Might be a good idea. A common answer could be, δουλεύω για μια εταιρεία κινητής τηλεφωνίας. I work for a mobile communications company. If that person doesn't mention the company name, this means they want to keep it for themselves. But if you are really curious and want to be nosy, nonetheless, then you can go ahead and ask, για ποια εταιρεία? For which company? Okay, moving on. Ποιο είναι το τηλέφωνό σου? What's your phone number? Let's say you met someone really interesting and you want to keep in touch. You'll want to ask for their phone number. In that case, you can say, ποιο είναι το τηλέφωνό σου? What's your phone number? Ποιο είναι το τηλέφωνό σου? And the other person can say, το τηλέφωνό μου είναι το 555-03-76. My phone number is 555-0376. This actually sounds like a Hollywood movie phone number. In Greece, numbers don't start with 555. Mobile numbers start with 6 and landlines with 2, usually. The country code is +30 if you dial from abroad. And that was the useless fact of the day, courtesy of your Greek teacher, me. Πού έμαθες ελληνικά? Where did you learn Greek? Πού έμαθες ελληνικά? Where did you learn Greek? Πού έμαθες ελληνικά? This is a question you will probably get a lot. You can say, έμαθα ελληνικά κάνοντας ιδιαίτερα μαθήματα. I learned Greek through private lessons. Or, έμαθα ελληνικά με το GreekPod101.com. I learned Greek with GreekPod101.com. Σου αρέσει το ελληνικό φαγητό? Do you like Greek food? Σου αρέσει το ελληνικό φαγητό? Do you like Greek food? Pretty sure most of you do. So you can say, ναι, μου αρέσει πολύ. Yes, I love it. If you don't like it, you can also say, ναι, μου αρέσει πολύ, unless you purposely want people not to like you. In that case, you can say, όχι, δεν μου αρέσει. No, I don't like it. And open Pandora's box. I wouldn't want to argue about food with a Greek, so I'm just warning you. Έχεις πάει ποτέ στην Ελλάδα? Have you been to Greece? Έχεις πάει ποτέ στην Ελλάδα? Have you been to Greece? Obviously, a question others will ask you. If you haven't been to Greece, you can say something like, όχι, αλλά θα ήθελα να πάω. No, but I'd like to go. Who knows, maybe you'll get invited to someone's summer house. Well, that was it for this lesson. You learned the top 10 questions you should know. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. For more videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit GreekPod101.com. Γεια χαρά! I learned Greek with 101... Bleh. Pod 101... Bleh. I can't.
Want to speak real Greek from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at GreekPod101.com.
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, we'll focus on teaching you the most useful Greek words and phrases for absolute beginners.
Make sure you're repeating the words out loud after I say the examples.
Are you ready? Let's get started. The best phrase to learn when studying a new language is one that expresses gratitude and appreciation. If you had to learn only a single phrase, this would be it.
We taught you this word in the first lesson of this series. Do you remember what it was? Ευχαριστώ. It means thank you. Ευχαριστώ.
Keep repeating after Chrissy until you get it.
Ευχαριστώ.
Your turn.
Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ.
Do you remember this mark here? We talked about it in lesson 2. It's the accent mark, and it indicates that this syllable is stressed. A stressed syllable is pronounced slightly longer and at a higher pitch than the rest of the syllables in a word. Listen again to how Chrissy is pronouncing this word and repeat.
Ευχαριστώ.
Okay, the next phrase we'll teach you is perhaps the second most useful of all phrases. It's to apologize or to excuse yourself.
We taught you this phrase in lesson 2. Do you remember what it was? Συγγνώμη. And it means excuse me or I'm sorry. Συγγνώμη.
Use this phrase when you want to grab a waiter's attention or when you're hustling through the busy streets of Athens.
Συγγνώμη.
Your turn.
Συγγνώμη.
Imagine you're on the street and you want to stop someone to ask them for directions. What do you say?
Συγγνώμη.
Okay, one last time.
Συγγνώμη.
Now you can say thank you, excuse me, and I'm sorry in Greek. Let's move on. Asking where something is an incredibly important and useful phrase to learn. You're going to need this when asking where the toilet, the metro station, or where the hotel is. To ask where something is, you need to add an article in one of the 3 genders, plus the name of the place or location after this phrase here.
Πού είναι?
For example, you want to ask, where is the toilet? You need to use the feminine article because the word toilet, which the article defines, is feminine in Greek.
Πού είναι η τουαλέτα?
When you first start learning Greek, don't worry too much about mixing up the gender of articles. This is something you learn with time and a lot of study. Plus, Greeks will understand your question well enough no matter what. Next, for the metro station, it'll be...
Πού είναι ο σταθμός του μετρό?
And so on. You can ask where something is by simply starting with...
Πού είναι? Πού means where. Είναι translates to is. Remember that what looks like an English semicolon is actually a question mark in Greek.
Altogether, it's...
Πού είναι?
Your turn.
Πού είναι? Πού είναι?
Okay, now let's teach you some vocabulary so that you can use it in the sentence. Here are some of the most common words you'll need to learn alongside their articles.
Η τουαλέτα.
The toilet.
Η τουαλέτα. Πού είναι η τουαλέτα?
Next,
Ο σταθμός του μετρό.
the metro station.
Ο σταθμός του μετρό. Πού είναι ο σταθμός του μετρό?
If you ask someone this question, they'll direct you to the closest metro station. If you'd like to ask where a specific metro station is, like the Acropolis metro station, for example, simply place the station name after metro station.
Ο σταθμός του μετρό. Ο σταθμός του μετρό Ακρόπολη. Πού είναι ο σταθμός του μετρό Ακρόπολη?
Next,
Το ξενοδοχείο.
the hotel.
Το ξενοδοχείο. Πού είναι το ξενοδοχείο?
For a specific hotel, do the same thing as a metro station. Just place the name after hotel.
Το ξενοδοχείο. Το ξενοδοχείο Hilton. Πού είναι το ξενοδοχείο Hilton?
Next,
Το σούπερ μάρκετ.
the supermarket.
Το σούπερ μάρκετ. Πού είναι το σούπερ μάρκετ?
You can substitute almost anything and simply put
Πού είναι?
at the beginning of your sentence to ask where something is in Greek. In this final lesson, you learned how to say thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, and how to ask where something is in Greek. And in this series, we introduced you to the basics of Greek pronunciation, grammar, writing, and more. Let's conclude with some parting advice from Chrissy and listen to some of her tips on how to learn Greek from a native Greek perspective.
First of all, if you want to improve your pronunciation and communication skills, try not to fit all Greek sounds onto those of the English alphabet. One effective way to initially master Greek pronunciation is to watch and study contemporary Greek videos. That's because we often use expressions and hand gestures in daily conversations that aren't necessarily introduced in grammar textbooks. Secondly, don't rely on romanization too much. The biggest mistake that I often see is learners using English letters instead of the Greek alphabet. Although romanization is helpful, it might not represent the exact sounds of Greek, since for some consonant sounds, we only have a rough equivalent in English. One such example is the word gata, meaning cat. This is usually romanized with an initial G letter, but it is not pronounced gata. The first consonant is softer, gata. Watching contemporary videos such as our videos here at GreekPod101.com will ensure that you are learning real, applicable Greek in the fastest and most effective way.
You've reached the end of this course, Introduction to Greek, but it's only the beginning of your journey to Greek fluency. Where do you go from here? Try our Greek in 3-minute series, where we teach you beginner vocab and even more useful phrases. Or check out any of our other video series. We have many different categories for you to choose from. Good luck as you continue learning Greek, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!
Γεια χαρά!
In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in Greek. Hi everybody, my name is Stefania. Welcome to the 800 Core Greek Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in Greek. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning language. You can also get the full list right now at GreekPod101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master Greek. Okay, let's get started. First is γελάω, laugh. γελάω, γελάω, laugh. Το ζευγάρι γέλασε με ένα αστείο. The couple laughed at a joke. Το ζευγάρι γέλασε με ένα αστείο. Νόστιμος, delicious. Νόστιμος, νόστιμος, delicious. Φαίνεται νόστιμο. It looks delicious. Φαίνεται νόστιμο. Νερό, water. Νερό, νερό, water. Μπορώ να έχω λίγο νερό παρακαλώ? Can I have some water please? Μπορώ να έχω λίγο νερό παρακαλώ? Τσάι, tea. Τσάι, τσάι, tea. Η γυναίκα πίνει τσάι. The woman is drinking tea. Η γυναίκα πίνει τσάι. Καφές, coffee. Καφές, καφές. coffee. Μου αρέσει ο καφές σκέτος. I like my coffee black. Μου αρέσει ο καφές σκέτος. Μπύρα, beer. Μπύρα, μπύρα, beer. Ο μπάρμαν σερβίρει την μπύρα. The bartender is pouring the beer. Ο μπάρμαν σερβίρει την μπύρα. Κρασί, wine. Κρασί, κρασί, wine. Κόκκινο και λευκό κρασί. Red and white wine. Κόκκινο και λευκό κρασί. Μοσχάρι, beef. Μοσχάρι, μοσχάρι, beef. Μοσχάρι για το κύριο πιάτο. Beef for the main course. Μοσχάρι για το κύριο πιάτο. Κοτόπουλο, chicken. Κοτόπουλο, κοτόπουλο, chicken. Δεν μου αρέσει η πέτσα του κοτόπουλου. I don't like chicken skin. Δεν μου αρέσει η πέτσα του κοτόπουλου. Χοιρινό, pork. Χοιρινό, χοιρινό, pork. Το χοιρινό είναι το κρέας από το γουρούνι. Pork is the meat from a pig. Το χοιρινό είναι το κρέας από το γουρούνι. Ψάρι, fish. Ψάρι, ψάρι, fish. Οι Ιάπωνες τρώνε πολύ ψάρι. Japanese people eat a lot of fish. Οι Ιάπωνες τρώνε πολύ ψάρι. Αρνί, lamb. Αρνί, αρνί, lamb. Το αρνί είναι εξαιρετικά νόστιμο. Lamb is extremely delicious. Το αρνί είναι εξαιρετικά νόστιμο. Γιατρός, doctor. Γιατρός, γιατρός, doctor. Ο γιατρός εξετάζει το πόδι. The doctor is examining the foot. Ο γιατρός εξετάζει το πόδι. Αστυνόμος, police officer. Αστυνόμος, αστυνόμος, police officer. Ο αστυνόμος ανακρίνει τον οδηγό. The police officer is questioning the driver. Ο αστυνόμος ανακρίνει τον οδηγό. Δασκάλα, teacher. Δασκάλα, δασκάλα, teacher. Η δασκάλα διδάσκει τα παιδιά στην τάξη. The teacher is teaching the kids in the classroom. Η δασκάλα διδάσκει τα παιδιά στην τάξη. Υπάλληλος, employee, υπάλληλος, υπάλληλος, employee. Οι υπάλληλοι κάνουν απεργία. The employees are on a strike. Οι υπάλληλοι κάνουν απεργία. Έρχομαι. Come. Έρχομαι. Έρχομαι. Come. Το τρένο έρχεται. The train is coming. Το τρένο έρχεται. Βλέπω. See. Βλέπω. Βλέπω. See. Βλέπω τις ειδήσεις κάθε βράδυ. I watch the news every evening. Βλέπω τις ειδήσεις κάθε βράδυ. Φτιάχνω. Make. Φτιάχνω. Φτιάχνω. Make. Τα παιδιά φτιάχνουν κουλουράκια. The children are making Greek cookies. Τα παιδιά φτιάχνουν κουλουράκια. Χρησιμοποιώ. Use. Χρησιμοποιώ. Χρησιμοποιώ. Use. Χρησιμοποιώ ηλεκτρονικό υπολογιστή για τη δουλειά. I use a computer for work. Χρησιμοποιώ ηλεκτρονικό υπολογιστή για τη δουλειά. Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at GreekPod101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time! Γεια χαρά!
Hi everybody, this is Stefania. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Alphabito Made Easy, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn the Greek alphabet, the alphabito. Great job on making it this far! After this lesson, you will have learned half of the Greek alphabet. Yes, in this lesson, we will learn our 12th letter. That is 12 out of 24. Let's do a quick review of our previous letters. They were alpha, mi, taf, iota, kappa, omicron, pi, sigma, eta, and psi. Have you been practicing them? So I'm sure you have figured out their small quirks and are ready for two more. One very similar to English and one unique to Greek. Let's start from the exotic one. It is the consonant gamma, which makes a g sound and might be a little difficult for English speakers since it doesn't have an exact English equivalent. Most people treat it like a G, but it is softer, more like the Y sound in you or young. Here's the uppercase form of gamma. Gamma. And here's the lowercase form of gamma. This might seem a little difficult to remember since there is no similarity between the uppercase and the lowercase form, so all you can do is learn it by heart. It is handwritten like this. Gamma. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form. And here's the lowercase form. Okay, the hard part is over, so let's get to something more familiar. How about the S sound, as in the English them? In Greek, it's represented by the vowel epsilon. Here is the uppercase version. It is handwritten like this. Epsilon.
And this is what the lowercase epsilon looks like. It's not that different than the uppercase epsilon, just more rounded. Sort of like how you would write a backwards 3. It is handwritten like this. Epsilon. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form. And here's the lowercase form. Not that hard, was it? I mean, you already knew the uppercase from English. As for the lowercase, well, it's just a squiggly line, isn't it? Let's use something new and something old to write a short but very important word. It is yi, and it means earth. It's written using today's gamma and lesson 5's eta. Here we go. Yi. This was short, so let's write something longer, like full. In Greek, it's yamatos, and it's written like this. Yamatos. Notice though that this is the masculine form. For the feminine, you should use yamati, and for the neutral, yamato. So let's recap the first half of the Greek alphabet. Alpha, mi, taf, iota, kappa, omicron, pi, sigma, eta, psi, gamma, and epsilon. These are all familiar by now, right? Now it's time for Stefania's insights. Like I said in the beginning, we have covered half of the Greek alphabet. This is no small feat, and I hope you feel proud. Even though we're still missing some important letters, the ones we have covered so far are enough to be able to read and write hundreds of Greek words, so please don't neglect your reading and practicing. Furthermore, I'd like to suggest something. Using the letters you know, try to read a Greek text and try to guess the ones you don't. It might sound strange, but it will help your Greek because it will hone your instinct for the language. Besides air, food, and water, there is something else you cannot live without. Can you guess what it is? The answer and the way to write it is in the next Alphabet Made Easy lesson, so don't miss it. Γεια χαρά!
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.
In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in Greek. Hi everybody, my name is Stefania. Welcome to the 800 Core Greek Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in Greek. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at GreekPod101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master Greek. Okay, let's get started. First is skílos, dog. Skílos, skílos, dog. Ο σκύλος σου είναι αυτός? Is that your dog? Ο σκύλος σου είναι αυτός? Γάτα, cat. Γάτα, γάτα, cat. Αυτή η γάτα είναι πολύ φιλική. This cat is very friendly. Αυτή η γάτα είναι πολύ φιλική. Hamster, 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 hamster. Στα hamster αρέσει να κοιμούνται την ημέρα. Hamsters like to sleep during the day. Στα χάμστερ αρέσει να κοιμούνται την ημέρα. Ζεστός, warm, ζεστός, ζεστός, warm. Τον Μάιο ο καιρός είναι ζεστός και ηλιόλουστος. In May the weather is warm and sunny. Τον Μάιο ο καιρός είναι ζεστός και ηλιόλουστος. Βροχή, rain, βροχή, βροχή, rain. Περπατάω στη βροχή. I'm walking in the rain. Περπατάω στη βροχή. Ντομάτα, tomato, ντομάτα, ντομάτα, tomato. Έκοψα μια ντομάτα. I sliced a tomato. Έκοψα μια ντομάτα. Φράουλα, strawberry, φράουλα, φράουλα, strawberry. Μ' αρέσουν πάρα πολύ τα milkshake με γεύση φράουλα. I love strawberry milkshakes very much. Μ' αρέσουν πάρα πολύ τα milkshake με γεύση φράουλα. Κεράσι, cherry, κεράσι, κεράσι, cherry. Το νέο μας σιρόπι για τον βήχα βγαίνει τώρα και σε ευχάριστη γεύση κερασιού. Our new cough syrup now comes in a pleasant cherry taste. Το νέο μας σιρόπι για τον βήχα βγαίνει τώρα και σε ευχάριστη γεύση κερασιού. Παιδί, child, παιδί, παιδί, child. Αυτό το παιδί είναι ενοχλητικό. This child is annoying. Αυτό το παιδί είναι ενοχλητικό. Φίλος, friend, φίλος, φίλος, friend. Είσαι ένας καταπληκτικός φίλος. You're an awesome friend. Είσαι ένας καταπληκτικός φίλος. Ενήλικας, adult, ενήλικας, ενήλικας, adult. Αν είσαι ενήλικας, πληρώνεις ολόκληρο εισιτήριο. If you're an adult, you pay the full ticket. Αν είσαι ενήλικας, πληρώνεις ολόκληρο εισιτήριο. Ποδήλατο, bicycle, ποδήλατο, ποδήλατο, bicycle. Έχω ένα κίτρινο ποδήλατο. I have a yellow bicycle. Έχω ένα κίτρινο ποδήλατο. Αυτοκίνητο, car, αυτοκίνητο, αυτοκίνητο, car. Αγόρασα μία κουκούλα αυτοκινήτου. I bought a tarpaulin for the car. Αγόρασα μία κουκούλα αυτοκινήτου. Μοτοσικλέτα, motorcycle, μοτοσικλέτα, μοτοσικλέτα, motorcycle. Έχω ένα αυτοκίνητο και μια μοτοσικλέτα. I have a car and a motorcycle. Έχω ένα αυτοκίνητο και μια μοτοσικλέτα. Σκούτερ, scooter, σκούτερ, σκούτερ, scooter. Τα σκούτερ είναι αργά. Scooters are slow. Τα σκούτερ είναι αργά. Βάρκα, boat, βάρκα, βάρκα, boat. Ο άνεμος έριξε τη βάρκα στα βράχια και την τσάκισε. The wind threw the boat on the rocks and crushed it. Ο άνεμος έριξε τη βάρκα στα βράχια και την τσάκισε. Μέδουσα, jellyfish. Μέδουσα, μέδουσα, jellyfish. Υπάρχουν μέδουσες μέσα στη θάλασσα. There are jellyfish in the sea. Υπάρχουν μέδουσες μέσα στη θάλασσα. Αστακός, lobster. Αστακός, αστακός, lobster. Ο αστακός είναι στον βράχο. The lobster is on the rock. Ο αστακός είναι στον βράχο. Καβούρι, crab. Καβούρι, καβούρι, crab. Μου αρέσει το φρέσκο καβούρι. I like fresh crab. Μου αρέσει το φρέσκο καβούρι. Χελώνα, turtle. Χελώνα, χελώνα, turtle. Είμαι θελοντής σε μία οργάνωση για την προστασία της θαλάσσιας χελώνας. I'm a volunteer at an organization for the protection of the sea turtle. Είμαι εθελοντής σε μια οργάνωση για την προστασία της θαλάσσιας χελώνας. Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at GreekPod101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time! Γεια χαρά!
Hi everyone! Do you know how to say I love you in Greek? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with how to express your feelings to your loved one.
Σ' αγαπώ. Σ' αγαπώ. Σ' αγαπώ.
Or if you want to explain those butterflies in your stomach, you can say
Σημαίνεις τόσα πολλά για μένα. Σημαίνεις τόσα πολλά για μένα. Σημαίνεις τόσα πολλά για μένα.
And when you feel that I love you is not enough, you can say
Οι λέξεις δεν μπορούν να περιγράψουν την αγάπη μου για σένα. Οι λέξεις δεν μπορούν να περιγράψουν την αγάπη μου για σένα. Οι λέξεις δεν μπορούν να περιγράψουν την αγάπη μου για σένα.
You just learned 3 different ways to say I love you in Greek. And if you're interested in learning more, don't forget to download your free Romance and Love cheat sheet, which includes romantic words, compliments, and pickup lines. Check out the description below and go to GreekPod101.com now. See you next time!
Hi everybody, this is Stefania from GreekPod101.com. Do you know how to say bye in Greek? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 partner expressions in Greek. Let's start with the easiest one, addio. Addio. We can use this partner expression for any occasion. If you want to say bye in the evening or night, there is a different phrase you should use. Καλό βράδυ. Καλό βράδυ. This means good evening in Greek. The first word, καλό, means good, and the next word, βράδυ, means evening. If you know that you are going to see the person again, here's a phrase for you. Τα λέμε. Τα λέμε. This means see you soon. In Greek, there are several ways to say see you later or see you soon, like τα λέμε, which means literally we talk. Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what you've learned. Listen to the words and repeat after me. Goodbye. Addio. Addio. Good evening. Καλό βράδυ. Καλό βράδυ. See you soon. Τα λέμε. Τα λέμε. Well done! Here's a fun fact. The easiest way to say goodbye in Greek is to say the word ya. This word means both bye and see you. If you give a slight wave and a loud ya, then you'll be just like one of the locals. You just learned how to say bye in 3 different ways in Greek. And don't forget, you can learn Greek twice as fast with your free PDF lessons. Just click on the link in the description to download them. See you soon! Τα λέμε! In this video, you learned 20 of the most common words and phrases in Greek. Hi everybody, my name is Stefania. Welcome to the 800 Core Greek Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in Greek. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning language. You can also get the full list right now at GreekPod101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master Greek. Okay, let's get started. First is σήμερα, today. Σήμερα, σήμερα, today. Σήμερα στις 6 και 4. Today at 6:15. Σήμερα στις 6 και 4. Χθες or χτες. Yesterday. Χθες. Χτες. Χθες. Χτες. Yesterday. Χθες το απόγευμα. Yesterday afternoon. Χθες το απόγευμα. Αύριο. Tomorrow. Αύριο. Αύριο. Tomorrow. Τα λέμε αύριο. See you tomorrow. Τα λέμε αύριο. Εβδομάδα. Week. Εβδομάδα. Εβδομάδα. Week. Υπάρχουν 7 μέρες σε μια εβδομάδα. There are 7 days in a week. Υπάρχουν 7 μέρες σε μια εβδομάδα. Έτος. Year. Έτος. Έτος. Year. Δίσεκτο έτος. Leap year. Δίσεκτο έτος. Δευτερόλεπτο. Second. Δευτερόλεπτο. Δευτερόλεπτο. Second. Για 10 δευτερόλεπτα. For 10 seconds. για 10 δευτερόλεπτα. Λεπτό. Minute. Λεπτό. Λεπτό. Minute. 3 λεπτά. 3 minutes. 3 λεπτά. Ώρα. Hour. Ώρα. Ώρα. Hour. Μία ώρα. 1 hour. Μία ώρα. Ρολόι. Watch. Ρολόι. Ρολόι. Watch. Ρολόι χειρός. Wristwatch. Ρολόι χειρός. Η ώρα. O'clock. Η ώρα. Η ώρα. O'clock. Έχουμε σύσκεψη στις 3 η ώρα. We have a meeting at 3 o'clock. Έχουμε σύσκεψη στις 3 η ώρα. Ημερολόγιο. Calendar. Ημερολόγιο. Ημερολόγιο. Calendar. Φετινό ημερολόγιο. This year's calendar. Φετινό ημερολόγιο. Δευτέρα. Monday. Δευτέρα. Δευτέρα. Monday. Η εβδομάδα ξεκινάει τη Δευτέρα. The week starts on Monday. Η εβδομάδα ξεκινάει τη Δευτέρα. Τρίτη. Tuesday. Τρίτη. Τρίτη. Tuesday. Τρίτη, 1η Ιανουαρίου. Tuesday, January 1st. Τρίτη, 1η Ιανουαρίου. Τετάρτη. Wednesday. Τετάρτη. Τετάρτη. Wednesday. Τετάρτη, 18 του μηνός. Wednesday, the 18th. Τετάρτη, 18 του μηνός. Πέμπτη. Thursday. Πέμπτη. Πέμπτη. Thursday. Την Πέμπτη. On Thursday. Την Πέμπτη. Παρασκευή. Friday. Παρασκευή. Παρασκευή. Friday. Αυτήν την Παρασκευή. This Friday. Αυτήν την Παρασκευή. Σάββατο. Saturday. Σάββατο. Σάββατο. Saturday. Το Σάββατο το βράδυ. On Saturday night. Το Σάββατο το βράδυ. Κυριακή. Sunday. Κυριακή. Κυριακή. Sunday. Την επόμενη Κυριακή. Next Sunday. Την επόμενη Κυριακή. Κάνω. Do. Κάνω. Κάνω. Do. Δεν κάνω τίποτα. To do nothing. Δεν κάνω τίποτα. Πηγαίνω. Go. Πηγαίνω. Πηγαίνω. Go. Πηγαίνω στο πάρκο. Go to the park. Πηγαίνω στο πάρκο. Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at GreekPod101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time! Γεια χαρά!
Want to read and write in Greek and master the Greek alphabet? Then you need the Greek Alphabet Made Easy course. You get fast and easy lessons that teach you how to write and pronounce every letter of the alphabet, so you can finally start reading and writing on your own. Sign up for a premium account at GreekPod101.com and get 30% off. That's just $7 a month or 23 cents a day with our exclusive discount. Get started right now. You unlock 15 video lessons, each just 4 to 7 minutes long. Just press play, and we'll guide you through every letter of the alphabet, stroke by stroke. You'll learn tips and tricks for memorizing each one, and get printable lesson notes so you can practice writing. So if you're ready to finally read and write in Greek, click the link in the description, get 30% off premium at GreekPod101.com, and get the Greek Alphabet Made Easy course.
Hi everybody, Stefania here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Greek questions. The question for this lesson is, can I understand ancient Greek if I learn modern Greek? Ancient Greek is a very general term for all the different forms of Greek that existed before modern and medieval Greek. Archaic and classical Greek, with their many dialects such as Attic, Doric, Ionic, and Aeolic, among others, are ancient Greek, as well as Koine Greek, the common language of the Byzantine Empire. The gap between these forms of ancient Greek and today's modern Greek, officially called Demotic Greek, grows or becomes smaller depending on the era and dialect. The older the Greek, the more different it is from modern Greek. You might be wondering, how different is ancient Greek from modern Greek? Well, although the alphabet hasn't changed much since the classical period, the grammar and accentuation system have been simplified today. Apart from the active and the passive voice, there used to be a middle voice, as well as a dative case, along with the nominative, genitive, accusative, and vocative case. Ancient Greek uses infinitives in a way that modern Greek doesn't. The optative verb mood, as well as some diacritics, didn't survive, and there used to be an extra number called dual apart from the singular and the plural. Many words, of course, have changed, as well as the endings of inflected words and the formation of tenses and other verb forms. Here are some examples. Το είδωρ σημαίνει νερό στα αρχαία ελληνικά. Είδωρ means water in ancient Greek. Το πυρ σημαίνει φωτιά στα αρχαία ελληνικά. Pyr means fire in ancient Greek. So now you might be wondering if a native Greek speaker understands any ancient Greek at all. Depending on the era and dialect, ancient Greek might be totally incomprehensible even to a native Greek, like the archaic Greek in the works of Homer, also called Homeric Greek, or somewhat comprehensible, like the Koine Greek of the New Testament. Actually, many people ask me if studying modern Greek will help them understand the New Testament. Koine Greek is not that far from modern Greek, Most educated Greeks would probably understand a large part of it because of the language feel and instinct. Also because ancient Greek is taught in high schools, and there are still relics of it in modern Greek. Nonetheless, a translation is always required, and there are always many high school students who really struggle and end up going to cram schools to keep up. Here are some more examples. Ο Όμηρος αναφέρεται στη θάλασσα ως «als». Homer refers to the sea as «als». Δόξα τω Θεώ τα κατάφερα. Thank God I made it. A native Greek speaker who has never studied ancient Greek would struggle understanding it and would misinterpret even text in the somewhat more familiar Koine Greek. A non-native who is just studying modern Greek would recognize a few familiar words here and there, but overall, a piece of ancient Greek text wouldn't make much sense, if any sense, unless his or her fluency is near native level. To give you an idea, at first sight, the gap between Homeric Greek and modern Greek is probably near as great as the gap between Old English and modern English, while the gap between Koine Greek and modern Greek is probably similar to the gap between Middle English and modern English, with Classical Greek being somewhere in between. Here are some sample sentences. Η κοινή φράση της μετρητής είναι σε πτώση δοτική. The common phrase της μετρητής is in the dative case. Ευζήν σημαίνει το να ζεις καλά. Ευζήν means to live well. Coming back to the initial question, can I understand ancient Greek if I learn modern Greek? My answer would have to be not really. So my advice is to focus on whatever Greek you need to know, either ancient or modern, without any expectation that by learning one you will easily understand the other. How was the lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Γεια χαρά!
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Greek grammar. We won't be going into too much depth because it's impossible to condense everything into one short video lesson, but this video will give you a good idea of the main points of Greek grammar. The Greek language has one of the most extensive vocabularies in the world. All Greek words can be categorized into 10 different parts of speech. Furthermore, the Greek parts of speech are separated into inflected and non-inflected.
You might be wondering, what is inflection exactly?
Inflection is the modification of a word to express things such as tense, number, person, and more. The inflection of verbs is called conjugation. The inflection of articles, nouns, adjectives, and pronouns is called declension. When a word is not inflected, it means that its form never changes in speech.
The Greek inflected types of speech are the articles, nouns, adjectives, pronouns, verbs, and participles.
The Greek non-inflected types of speech are the adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections.
Greek has also some small non-inflected words called particles. However, particles are not considered a part of speech.
In this video, we won't focus on non-inflected words because their use is very straightforward. Instead, we'll focus on declension and conjugation, which are more complex processes. In Greek, articles, nouns, adjectives, pronouns, and the passive voice participles are declinable. That means that they have different forms, just like the English noun cat changes to cats in the plural. The whole set of different forms that a declinable word may present in Greek is called declension.
Or klisi, literally meaning inclination.
And each different form a declinable word may have is called case.
Or ptosi, literally meaning fall.
There are 4 cases in Greek: the nominative, the genitive, the accusative, and the vocative case.
In Greek, the nominative case has always been considered a direct case or orthiptosi, together with the vocative. The genitive and the accusative, on the other hand, were always considered to be oblique cases, or pleiastoses.
But what do direct and oblique mean here? Well, let's remember the inclination and fall concept for a moment. If you set up a thin stick vertically on the ground, it won't stand, it'll fall. The nominative case, being the direct case or straight case, indicates the form of a word that is the base, the starting point. This is like the moment when the stick is standing straight before it starts falling. Declinable words are always in the nominative form in dictionaries. In ancient times, the vocative was identical to the nominative. So the vocative is still considered a direct case, although today there may be some differences between the two cases. Imagine now that the standing stick starts falling. During the fall, its position constantly changes in relationship to its starting point until it falls flat on the ground. Declinable words change too in relationship to their starting point, the nominative case. So the oblique cases, or bent cases, represent the form of a word that is not the base, like when the stick is already inclined and falling. These are the genitive and the accusative cases. The whole idea of declension, cases, and different forms of the same word may seem strange to an English speaker because English lost its case system almost completely. However, we can still see some declension happening to words, such as the personal pronouns. For example, I, he, she, we, and they can change to me, him, her, us, and them. In the phrase, she loves him, she denotes the subject, while him denotes the object. Similarly, the Greek case system exists in order to indicate certain grammatical relationships among the words of a sentence, like the subject, object, and more. It's actually because of the case system that word order in Greek sentences is relatively flexible. For example, in English, the sentences the cat eats the mouse and the mouse eats the cat mean different things. By swapping the nouns cat and mouse, the meaning changes completely. However, in Greek, the meaning wouldn't change because the form itself of a word shows us whether it's the subject or the object.
The word order depends on what the speaker wants to emphasize, as the first word gets more attention. So the second sentence is actually more like saying, "It is the mouse that the cat eats."
The grammatical case is the first characteristic of declension. The other two characteristics are gender and number. There are three genders in Greek: masculine, feminine, and neuter. All declinable words, including articles, are gendered. For example, in Greek, the definite article the comes in all three genders.
O, I, to.
And just like in English, there are singular and plural forms. So in the plural form, the Greek definite articles become
I, ta.
If we also add the forms for each case, then these are all the possible forms a definite article may have in speech. Note that definite articles don't have a vocative case form. Another thing to keep in mind about articles is that they need to have the same case, gender, and number as the words they define. For example, nouns and adjectives. The same goes for all declinable words that define each other. Now let's move on to the conjugation of verbs.
Again, the word conjugation in Greek is called klisi.
Greek verbs are divided into two main conjugation groups depending on their main ending. There's conjugation A and conjugation B. Furthermore, conjugation B has two subgroups, first and second class. The conjugation group is one of the characteristics of a verb. There are 6 more characteristics that you need to keep in mind: the person, number, mood, tense, voice, and the diathesis. Just like in English, there are 3 persons, first, second, and third, for I, you, and he, she, it. There are 2 numerical forms, singular and plural, and 2 voices, active and passive. As for the tenses, there are 8 tenses in Greek. The present tense, which makes no distinction between the simple or continuous present, the past continuous, the simple past, the future continuous, the simple future, the perfect, the past perfect, and the future perfect tense. Please keep in mind that in Greek, it's not always necessary to add the personal pronoun. That's because unlike English, verbs have a different form for each person, so the verb form itself shows us which person we're talking about. If pronouns are used, Those are to make the context more clear or for emphasis.
Next, the mood of a verb has to do with the way the verb is presented. A verb might be presented as something real, that is a fact, as something we expect or wish to happen, or as a command, among others. There are 5 moods in Greek, but we won't go into detail at this moment.
Lastly, diathesis, literally meaning disposition, has to do with the meaning of a verb and the type of action it describes. For example, it might show us that the subject is doing an action, that the subject is acting upon itself, that someone else is acting upon the subject, or that the subject is simply in a particular state. With these basic grammar points in mind, you know what to expect once you start studying Greek grammar.
Now, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned.
In this lesson, you learn the Greek parts of speech as well as which ones are inflected and which ones are not. We introduced you to the basic characteristics of declension and conjugation. You also learned that due to declension, word order is flexible in Greek. We've covered only the very basics of Greek grammar. If you're interested in more Greek, check out our Greek in 3 Minutes video series. In that course, we teach you useful phrases, and each lesson is only 3 minutes long. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Greek writing. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Γεια χαρά!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Greek pronunciation. Pronunciation refers to the manner in which a word is spoken, so don't focus on reading what's on screen. Instead, focus on listening and repeating. One of the aspects of a language is rhythm. Modern Greek is a mixed rhythm language with characteristics varying between those of syllable-timed and stress-timed languages. In syllable-timed languages, all syllables have equal duration, while in stress-timed languages like English, some syllables are longer and some are shorter. Spanish. Spanish.
Now let's hear a Greek word. Όμορφος. Όμορφος.
Another aspect of a language is intonation. Did you notice the accent mark above the first letter? There is only one type of accent mark in modern Greek, the acute accent. It adds stress to a syllable. A stressed syllable usually lasts longer and has a slightly higher pitch than the rest. Other than pitch accents, there is no pitch system in Greek, like in Chinese, for example, where different tones define the meaning of words. Let's listen to that again.
Όμορφος. Όμορφος.
There's a golden rule in Greek concerning accents. The accent mark can only go on one of the 3 last syllables of a word. Let's see this in a longer word.
Ομορφόπεδο. Ομορφόπεδο.
This word, as well as the previous one, share the same root. However, the accent mark had to be moved over to a different syllable in order to comply with our accentuation golden rule. By the way, did you notice that although this word is longer than the previous one, it feels as if the syllables are pronounced faster?
Όμορφος. Ομορφόπεδο.
In general, you need to keep in mind that the duration of any syllable depends on whether the syllable is stressed and on the length of the word. Additionally, an unstressed syllable may have a different duration depending on its position relative to the stressed syllable. For example, in the second word, pre-stressed syllables take slightly longer to be pronounced than the post-stressed ones.
Imagine this rhythm is a roller coaster ride. The pre-stressed syllables are like going up to the highest point slowly. The stressed syllable is like waiting at the top for a while. And then the post-stressed syllables are like the very fast fall. Of course, while Greeks speak, these duration differences between syllables are very small and hard to notice. Ομορφόπεδο. Ομορφόπεδο.
Greek is considered a fast-spoken language. Laboratory experiments have shown that a Greek speaker pronounces more syllables per second than an English speaker. There are 5 vowel sounds in Greek that are represented by 7 letters and 4 double vowel combinations.
A, E, I, O, ου.
It's really that simple. The vowel sounds in Greek are exactly the same as the vowel sounds in English.
Α, I, O, ου.
Okay, let's move on. There are 34 consonant sounds in Greek that are represented by 17 letters and 6 double consonant combinations. Let's hear them.
V, G, Y, V, Z, F, K, K, L, Y, M, N, N, X, P, R, R, S, T, F, H, Ps, G, Ng, Ng, B, B, P, D, D, T, T, Z.
In the previous lesson, you learned that around 25 to 30% of English words come from Greek, either directly or indirectly, which is quite a lot. But did you also know that apart from the Greek vowels, which are very easy to pronounce, out of the 34 consonant sounds in Greek, you already know 26 of them? That means that if you were to simply imitate a Greek speaker, your pronunciation would be correct most of the time. For example, listen and repeat after Chrissy.
Παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ.
Chances are your pronunciation was pretty spot on. The P, R, K, and L sounds are practically identical to English. Don't forget that words get accentuated in Greek, so make sure to stress that final syllable with the accent mark. Repeat after Chrissy.
Παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ.
Since most sounds in Greek are identical to English, you only need to pay attention to the few sounds that are completely new to you. There are only 8 unique Greek consonant sounds that you need to learn to perfect your Greek pronunciation. One of these sounds can be heard in the following word.
Συγγνώμη.
This word is often romanized like this.
Συγγνώμη.
This character isn't pronounced using an English G sound at all.
Γ.
It's like a very soft, continuous, and loosely held G, almost as if you're gargling, but don't make it sound too throaty.
Γ.
There's no such sound in English, but most people would transcribe this using the letter G, because that's the closest equivalent in English. Pronouncing it like an English G, however, would be a huge mistake. To get that sound right, your tongue and the back part of your mouth should be barely separated from each other while you blow a steady stream of air between the small separation. Another approach is to try to pronounce a G as if an H sound were to follow after it and hold that sound while you exhale. The after sound created by that H is what you're looking for. Listen as Chrissy demonstrates. Repeat after her.
Συγγνώμη. Συγγνώμη.
Well done. Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that the rhythm of the Greek language is mixed and follows a fast tempo. The accentuation can only go on one of the 3 last syllables. A stressed syllable sounds longer, but the longer the word, the shorter the syllables are pronounced. Pre-stressed syllables are generally longer than post-stressed syllables. Collectively, nearly all the sounds in Greek are identical to the sounds in English. And finally, there are only 8 new sounds that you need to learn. We've covered only the basics of Greek pronunciation. If you're interested in learning more, check out the entire course we created named The Ultimate Guide to Greek Pronunciation. In that course, we cover and break down every single sound in the Greek language, showing you mouth and tongue positioning and giving you tips to help you perfect your Greek pronunciation. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Greek grammar, where you'll learn about Greek word order and how to build basic phrases in Greek. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Γεια χαρά!
Hi everyone! Do you know how to say thank you in Greek? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with the easiest one.
Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ.
Another way to say thank you is
Σε ευχαριστώ. Σε ευχαριστώ.
Finally, here's a third way to express your gratitude.
Σας ευχαριστώ. Σας ευχαριστώ.
Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned.
Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ. Σε ευχαριστώ. Σε ευχαριστώ. Σας ευχαριστώ. Σας ευχαριστώ.
Well done! You just learned 3 different ways to say thank you in Greek. And if you really want to become fluent and speak Greek from the very first lesson, go to GreekPod101.com. See you next time!
Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn all 5 Greek vowel sounds.
A, E, I, O, U.
With these sounds, you can pronounce any vowel that could possibly appear in Greek. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first vowel sound is
A, άρτος, ένατος, θάλασσα, παράμερα.
It's similar to the A sound in the word mama or papa.
A, A. A, A.
The next vowel sound is
Έξι, τσελεμεντές, βέβαια, έπαινος.
It's similar to the E sound in the word bed. We should note that certain double vowel combinations in Greek aren't pronounced the same way as they're spelled. These 2 vowels, for example, are actually pronounced as a single vowel sound. As you can see, these 2 vowels are also pronounced like the E sound in the word bed. Listen to how Stefania pronounces this vowel sound.
Ε, ε.
The next vowel sound is
Ή, ίαση, οικείος, υιοθετώ, βαρύς.
It's the same as the double E sound in the word see. Like the previous sound, there are also many double vowels which can be used to represent this sound. Although spelled differently, all of them are pronounced the same way. Listen to how Stefania pronounces this vowel sound.
Ή, ή. Ή, ή.
The next vowel sound is
Ο, όγκος, τεντώνω, μόλοπας, μοσχοβολώ.
As you can see, there are 2 letters which can be used to represent this sound. The sound is similar to the O sound in the word pot, though try to open and round your mouth more than you would normally.
Ο, ο. Ο, ο.
The last vowel sound for this lesson is
Ου, ουρά, ακούω, καπελού, κουρούνα.
This double vowel is pronounced like the double O sound in the word pool. Listen to how Stefania pronounces this vowel sound.
Ου, ου. Ου, ου.
Well done! You've just learned all 5 vowel sounds in Greek.
A, E, I, O, U.
In the next lesson, you'll start learning consonant sounds. Which vowel sound was the toughest for you to pronounce? Please comment and share your thoughts. See you in the next Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn the top 5 Greek pronunciation mistakes to avoid. These are common mistakes that Greek learners make, so pay close attention and make sure that you don't make these same mistakes too. Are you ready? Then let's get started. Unlike English, Greek has only 5 vowel sounds.
A, E, I, O, U.
The most common vowel sound in the English language is the schwa, which sounds like the A in the word about. This is the most neutral and the easiest vowel sound you can make because it requires the least amount of effort to produce. In rapid speech, many of the vowel sounds in English are often reduced to this easy-to-pronounce schwa sound. In Greek, however, there is no such schwa sound. All of the 5 vowel sounds are distinct, so if you don't pronounce them clearly, there's a high chance that you'll end up mispronouncing these vowels altogether. The only way to correct this problem is to practice pronouncing the 5 Greek vowel sounds cleanly and limiting yourself to using just these 5 vowel sounds and nothing in between. But don't worry, we'll cover all 5 Greek vowel sounds in the next lesson. Learners often mispronounce this letter as a G or an H, and oftentimes make it sound too throaty. This letter is tricky because the pronunciation changes depending on the surrounding vowels. When it precedes an I or an E vowel, it's pronounced very much like an English Y sound. For example,
Γη, γένος.
when it precedes an A, O, or U, however, it's pronounced like a loosely held G sound.
Γάτα, γόβα, γούνα.
Try to listen to as many native pronunciations of this letter as you can, and of course, make sure to practice pronouncing and memorizing all of the variations. We'll take an in-depth look at all of these sounds in Lesson 4. Although these are familiar sounds to English speakers, the th and the sounds often get mixed up. This is mainly a recognition issue, as both of these letters look similar in lowercase form and both are dental consonants. You need to learn to recognize and pronounce the right consonant at the right time through practice, otherwise you'll be easily misunderstood. Greek learners also commonly mispronounce the th sound as a D sound. This is likely due to the fact that many loanwords in English have their roots in Greek and were rendered as a D sound instead of as a th sound. Just remember that this letter is never pronounced as a D in Greek. It's always pronounced as a th sound. We'll take an in-depth look at these sounds in Lesson 4. This mistake is apparent. Both of these Greek letters look very similar to the English letters P and X. However, the way you read them in Greek is totally different. Listen to Stefania pronounce this letter by itself and then in a few words.
R, άρια, τρίζω, πρόβα. Χαρά, χορός, χούφτα.
Reading Greek texts out loud can help you pick up mistakes and make corrections when you misread these letters. We'll take an in-depth look at all of these sounds in Lesson 4. Accents can be daunting for many Greek learners because they seem very foreign. This is especially true if your language doesn't contain any of them. However, they're nothing to be afraid of, as Greek primarily uses just one accent. Furthermore, its usage is very simple. This accent just indicates that you need to stress the syllable. That's it.
Κάλος, καλός. Νόμος, νομός. Θέα, θεά.
Notice how the accented syllables are emphasized? It's pronounced a little bit louder and longer than the surrounding syllables. And that's all there is to it. Wasn't that easy? We'll take an in-depth look at accentuation in Greek in Lesson 6. Now you know the top 5 Greek pronunciation mistakes to avoid. Try to be careful so that you don't make these same mistakes. Still feel a bit worried? Over the rest of this series, we'll cover all of these topics in depth. In the next lesson, we'll start learning vowel sounds in Greek. Have you been guilty of any of these 5 mistakes? Have you learned any tricks to deal with them? Let us know in the comments and share them with other students like you. Stick with us and you'll overcome these quickly. See you in the next Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide lesson.
Hi everybody, this is Stefania. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Alphabito Made Easy, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn the Greek alphabet, the alphabito. In the last 3 lessons, we covered 6 letters: alpha, mi, taf, iota, kappa, and omicron, which I'm sure you remember very well since they are almost identical to the English A, M, T, I, K, and O. So this time I thought we could try something a little more challenging. How about 2 letters unique to Greek in appearance? It might sound difficult, but I think you can manage. Our first letter is the consonant P. It sounds exactly the same as the English letter P, but it's written in a different way. Let's have a look at it. Here is what the uppercase P looks like. It is handwritten like this: P. And this is how the lowercase p looks like. It's almost the same as the uppercase P, but you notice that the horizontal line is a little longer. It is handwritten like this: P. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form. And here's the lowercase form. For anyone who has done math, the lowercase p will seem immediately familiar since it's the famous impossibly long number starting with 3.14. Most English speakers call it pi, but now you know its real name is p. It comes from the first letter of the Greek word peripheria, meaning the circumference of a circle. But enough with math! You're here to learn how to write Greek, right? So let's move on to our second letter for this lesson. It's another consonant, but very important to the writing of the Greek language. In English, it's often called sigma, but in Greek, it's sigma and makes a s sound. Interestingly enough, this letter has 3 forms, 1 in uppercase and 2 in lowercase. It's the only letter with this peculiarity, and this happens because it is often used as a final letter in Greek, which is when you use the third shape. This is what the uppercase sigma looks like. It is handwritten like this: sigma. And here's the lowercase sigma. It's like an omicron, but with a small line protruding to the right. It is handwritten like this: sigma. And this is what the ending sigma looks like. It is similar to the English S, isn't it? It is handwritten like this: sigma. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form. Here's the lowercase form. And here's the ending sigma. Now let's see what we can do with the letters we have learned so far. In our first lesson, we used mi and alpha to write mama, or mom, right? So how about we write the Greek word for dad? With the letters from this lesson, we have everything we need. The word is babas. Let's write it. Babas. If you notice that mi and p together actually sound like b, you were right. In Greek, we don't have a separate letter for the sound b, so we form it using mi and p. This is a little bit complicated, but we'll go over it in detail in the last lesson of this series, which is all about double consonants. Don't worry, if you learn the single letters, double ones won't be a problem, I promise. Is there something more simple we can write with these letters? Well, there is. Actually, something very useful. How about the word poto, meaning drink, as in πάμε για ένα ποτό, or let's go for a drink. Here it is, poto, and it's handwritten like this. Poto. Okay, you've made it through 4 lessons. Let's have a look at all the letters we have learned. Alpha, mi, taf, iota, kappa, omicron, pi, and sigma. Not bad, huh? Now it's time for Stefania's insights. An alphabet has many letters, but not all letters are created equal. The letters you've learned so far are the most commonly used in Greek. So even though you only know a third of the letters, you'll be able to read a lot more than a third of Greek texts. The ending sigma, in particular, pops up a lot. Try this. Print some text from a Greek website and mark all the ending sigmas red. How many did you count in one page? Up until now, we've seen familiar letters. Are you ready for an exotic-looking one? There is a letter resembling the symbol of the legendary Greek god of the sea, Poseidon. Care to see how it looks? Check out our next Alphabito Made Easy lesson. Γεια χαρά!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Greek pronunciation. Pronunciation refers to the manner in which a word is spoken, so don't focus on reading what's on screen. Instead, focus on listening and repeating. One of the aspects of a language is rhythm. Modern Greek is a mixed rhythm language with characteristics varying between those of syllable-timed and stress-timed languages. In syllable-timed languages, all syllables have equal duration, while in stress-timed languages like English, some syllables are longer and some are shorter. Spanish, Spanish.
Now let's hear a Greek word. Όμορφος. Όμορφος.
Another aspect of a language is intonation. Did you notice the accent mark above the first letter? There is only one type of accent mark in modern Greek, the acute accent. It adds stress to a syllable. A stressed syllable usually lasts longer and has a slightly higher pitch than the rest. Other than pitch accents, there is no pitch system in Greek, like in Chinese, for example, where different tones define the meaning of words. Let's listen to that again.
Όμορφος. Όμορφος.
There's a golden rule in Greek concerning accents. The accent mark can only go on one of the 3 last syllables of a word. Let's see this in a longer word.
Ομορφόπεδο. Ομορφόπεδο.
This word, as well as the previous one, share the same root. However, the accent mark had to be moved over to a different syllable in order to comply with our accentuation golden rule. By the way, did you notice that although this word is longer than the previous one, it feels as if the syllables are pronounced faster?
Όμορφος. Ομορφόπεδο.
In general, you need to keep in mind that the duration of any syllable depends on whether the syllable is stressed and on the length of the word. Additionally, an unstressed syllable may have a different duration depending on its position relative to the stressed syllable. For example, in the second word, pre-stressed syllables take slightly longer to be pronounced than the post-stressed ones.
Imagine this rhythm is a roller coaster ride. The pre-stressed syllables are like going up to the highest point slowly. The stressed syllable is like waiting at the top for a while. And then the post-stressed syllables are like the very fast fall. Of course, while Greeks speak, these duration differences between syllables are very small and hard to notice. Ομορφόπεδο. Ομορφόπεδο.
Greek is considered a fast-spoken language. Laboratory experiments have shown that a Greek speaker pronounces more syllables per second than an English speaker. There are 5 vowel sounds in Greek that are represented by 7 letters and 4 double vowel combinations.
A, E, I, O, U.
It's really that simple. The vowel sounds in Greek are exactly the same as the vowel sounds in English.
A, E, I, O, U.
Okay, let's move on. There are 34 consonant sounds in Greek that are represented by 17 letters and 6 double consonant combinations. Let's hear them.
V, G, Y, V, Z, F, K, K, L, Y, M, N, N, X, P, R, S, T, F, H, Ps, G, Ng, Ng, B, B, P, D, D, T, T, Z.
In the previous lesson, you learned that around 25 to 30% of English words come from Greek, either directly or indirectly, which is quite a lot. But did you also know that apart from the Greek vowels, which are very easy to pronounce, out of the 34 consonant sounds in Greek, you already know 26 of them? That means that if you were to simply imitate a Greek speaker, your pronunciation would be correct most of the time. For example, listen and repeat after Chrissy.
Παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ.
Chances are your pronunciation was pretty spot on. The P, R, K, and L sounds are practically identical to English. Don't forget that words get accentuated in Greek, so make sure to stress that final syllable with the accent mark. Repeat after Chrissy.
Παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ.
Since most sounds in Greek are identical to English, you only need to pay attention to the few sounds that are completely new to you. There are only 8 unique Greek consonant sounds that you need to learn to perfect your Greek pronunciation. One of these sounds can be heard in the following word.
Συγγνώμη.
This word is often romanized like this.
Συγγνώμη.
This character isn't pronounced using an English G sound at all.
Γ.
It's like a very soft, continuous, and loosely held G, almost as if you're gargling, but don't make it sound too throaty.
Γ.
There's no such sound in English, but most people would transcribe this using the letter G because that's the closest equivalent in English. Pronouncing it like an English G, however, would be a huge mistake. To get that sound right, your tongue and the back part of your mouth should be barely separated from each other while you blow a steady stream of air between the small separation. Another approach is to try to pronounce a G as if an H sound were to follow after it and hold that sound while you exhale. The after sound created by that H is what you're looking for. Listen as Chrissy demonstrates. Repeat after her.
Συγγνώμη. Συγγνώμη.
Well done. Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that the rhythm of the Greek language is mixed and follows a fast tempo. The accentuation can only go on one of the 3 last syllables. A stressed syllable sounds longer, but the longer the word, the shorter the syllables are pronounced. Pre-stressed syllables are generally longer than post-stressed syllables. Collectively, nearly all the sounds in Greek are identical to the sounds in English. And finally, there are only 8 new sounds that you need to learn. We've covered only the basics of Greek pronunciation. If you're interested in learning more, check out the entire course we created named The Ultimate Guide to Greek Pronunciation. In that course, we cover and break down every single sound in the Greek language, showing you mouth and tongue positioning and giving you tips to help you perfect your Greek pronunciation. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Greek grammar, where you'll learn about Greek word order and how to build basic phrases in Greek. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Γεια χαρά! Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last 2 lessons, we learned how to count in Greek from 1 to 100. I hope you spend some time practicing the numbers because they will come in handy in this lesson. Why? Because we will learn how to go shopping in Greece. Before we go, you need to know how to say how much is it. Πόσο κάνει? Πόσο κάνει? Are you ready to go shopping in Greece? Let's go! You see something you like and want to ask the shopkeeper how much it costs. The first thing to say is παρακαλώ. Do you remember what that means? It means please, usually, but in this situation it means excuse me. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό? The word αυτό we use in this phrase means it or this. We don't actually say the name of the object. If we want to be more specific, we must know if the object is feminine, masculine, or neuter, convert the word αυτό accordingly, and add the object itself. Let's say we are asking about a hat or a καπέλο. In Greek, a hat is neuter, so we will use the phrase αυτό το καπέλο. Let's try it. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό το καπέλο? Excuse me, how much is this hat? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό το καπέλο? And skirt is a feminine noun. Φούστα. Let's try that too. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτή η φούστα? Excuse me, how much is this skirt? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτή η φούστα? Finally, let's also try a masculine noun, like a lighter, αναπτήρας. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτός ο αναπτήρας? Excuse me, how much is this lighter? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτός ο αναπτήρας? At this point, the shopkeeper will answer by saying the price like 15 ευρώ or 20 ευρώ. The word ευρώ means, of course, euro, and as for the number, you already know that, don't you? In case you have forgotten, 15 means 15, and 20 means 20. Now it's time for Chrissy's insights. Even though it is not very polite, the fastest way to ask how much something costs is by saying the word αυτό, meaning it, and adding the word πόσο, meaning how much, like this, αυτό πόσο. In this case, even though you're using the neuter it, αυτό, you can also use it with masculine and feminine nouns. If you don't know the object's gender or you are in a hurry, you can do this. Greeks do it all the time. At this point, can you count euros in Greek? We are going to learn how to do this in the next lesson. After that, you'll have no excuse for not going out on a shopping spree in Greece. I'll be waiting for you in our next ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα.
Hi everybody, this is Stefania. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Alphabito Made Easy, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn the Greek alphabet, the alphabito. In our previous 2 lessons, we covered 4 letters, alpha, mi, taf, and iota. Have you been practicing them? Today we'll learn 2 more. After this, we will have covered a quarter of the Greek alphabet. So let's go! Our first letter this time is again a consonant, kappa. Its sound is k,
and it looks like this. Here's an uppercase kappa. Yes, it's the same as the English K. It is handwritten like this, kappa. And this is what the lowercase kappa looks like. Like tough, it's easier than the lowercase English K since it's an uppercase K but smaller. It is handwritten like this, kappa. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form. And here's the lowercase form. Let's move on to our second letter for this lesson. This is a vowel called omicron, which makes the sound O. Again, this will look very familiar since its appearance is the same as the English O, both in uppercase and lowercase. This is what the uppercase omicron looks like, exactly the same as the English O. It is handwritten like this, omicron. And this is what the lowercase omicron looks like. Nothing to remember, right? It is handwritten like this, omicron. Let's do that again. Here's the uppercase form. And here's the lowercase form. Is there something we could do with just kappa and omicron? Not much besides the all too familiar OK. Yes, Greeks use that too, especially in internet communication. You just write the two letters together as you would in English, and also like English, it's better to write them in uppercase. Let's write it together, shall we? OK. OK is, well, OK. But let's try a word that uses letters from all the past lessons. Kati, which means something. For example, in the sentence θέλω να φάω κάτι, meaning I want to eat something. Let's write this word together. Kati. Another word also useful in everyday communication is the word komati, meaning piece, as in θέλω ένα κομμάτι πίτα. I want a piece of pie. Let's write komati using all the letters we have learned by now. Komati. As you can see, in komati, the mi is doubled. This happens for grammatical reasons we explain in our language lessons on GreekPod101.com. You have been studying them too, right? So let's see all the letters we have learned so far. Alpha, mi, taf, iota, kappa, and omicron. Not that hard, are they? Now it's time for Stefania's insights. You may have noticed that the letters up to this point are not that hard since variations of them appear in the English alphabet. But please remember that the small differences are important. Even though most Greeks will understand a lowercase kappa written just like a lowercase English K, the correct way to write it is with a shorter vertical line. Don't neglect this detail. It will make your Greek writing much more natural. Before I leave you, here's a question. What is the world's longest number? Everybody knows it by its Greek name, which isn't the name of a dessert. Got it? Check out our next lesson and learn what I'm talking about. See you in the next Alphabito Mateys lesson. Γεια χαρά! In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in Greek. Hi everybody, my name is Stefania. Welcome to the 800 Core Greek Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in Greek. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at GreekPod101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master Greek. Okay, let's get started. First is ya. Hello. Ya. Γεια. Hello. Γεια σας. Τι κάνετε? Hello. How are you? Γεια σας. Τι κάνετε? Συγγνώμη. Excuse me. Συγγνώμη. Συγγνώμη. Excuse me. Συγγνώμη, κάθεστε στη θέση μου. Excuse me, you are sitting on my seat. Συγγνώμη, κάθεστε στη θέση μου. Συγγνώμη. I'm sorry. Συγγνώμη. Συγγνώμη. I'm sorry. Συγγνώμη, δεν το ήθελα. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Συγγνώμη, δεν το ήθελα. Καληνύχτα. Good night. Καληνύχτα. Καληνύχτα. Good night. Καληνύχτα και σε ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Good night and thank you very much. Καληνύχτα και σε ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Χαίρο πολύ. Nice to meet you. Χαίρο πολύ. Χαίρο πολύ. Nice to meet you. Με λένε Γιάννη. Χαίρο πολύ. My name is John. Nice to meet you. Με λένε Γιάννη. Χαίρο πολύ. Τι κάνεις? How are you? Τι κάνεις? Τι κάνεις? How are you? Γεια σου Μαρία, τι κάνεις? Hello Maria, how are you? Γεια σου Μαρία, τι κάνεις? Ναι. Yes. Ναι. Ναι. Yes. Ναι, σωστό είναι. Yes, that's correct. Ναι, σωστό είναι. Όχι. No. Όχι. Όχι. No. Όχι, δεν το θέλω. No, I don't want it. Όχι. Δεν το θέλω. Ευχαριστώ. Thank you. Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ. Thank you. Κατάλαβα. Ευχαριστώ. I understood. Thank you. Κατάλαβα. Ευχαριστώ. Είμαι. I am. Είμαι. Είμαι. I am. Είμαι η Λίζα. I am Lisa. Είμαι η Λίζα. Αντίο. Goodbye. Αντίο. Αντίο. Goodbye. Λίγο πριν χωριστούν, της είπε αντίο. Just before separating, he said goodbye to her. Λίγο πριν χωριστούν, της είπε αντίο. Κακός. Bad. Κακός. Κακός. Bad. Αυτός ο άντρας είναι κακός. This man is bad. Αυτός ο άντρας είναι κακός. Καλός. Good. Καλός. Καλός. Good. Έχει καλό καιρό σήμερα. The weather is good today. Έχει καλό καιρό σήμερα. Όμορφος. Pretty. Όμορφος. Όμορφος. Pretty. Είσαι πολύ όμορφος. You are very pretty. Είσαι πολύ όμορφος. Άσχημος. Ugly. Άσχημος. Άσχημος. Ugly. Αυτός είναι ένας πολύ άσχημος σκύλος. That is a very ugly dog. Αυτός είναι ένας πολύ άσχημος σκύλος. Εύκολος, easy. Εύκολος, εύκολος, easy. Ο χασαποσέρβικος είναι ένας εύκολος ελληνικός χορός. The χασαποσέρβικος is an easy Greek dance. Ο χασαποσέρβικος είναι ένας εύκολος ελληνικός χορός. Δύσκολος, difficult. Δύσκολος, δύσκολος, difficult. Τα αγγλικά είναι δύσκολα. English is difficult. Τα αγγλικά είναι δύσκολα. Κοντινός, nearby. Κοντινός, κοντινός, nearby. Πήγε στο κοντινό φαρμακείο. He went to the nearby pharmacy. Πήγε στο κοντινό φαρμακείο. Μακρινός, far away. Μακρινός, μακρινός, far away. Βρίσκεται σε ένα μακρινό μέρος. She's in a far away place. Βρίσκεται σε ένα μακρινό μέρος. Μικρός, small. Μικρός, μικρός, small. Αυτό το pullover είναι πολύ μικρό. This sweater's too small. Αυτό το pullover είναι πολύ μικρό. Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at GreekPod101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time! Γεια χαρά!
Hi everybody, this is Stefania. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Alphavito Made Easy, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn the Greek alphabet, the Alphavito. In our previous lesson, we learned two letters, alpha and mi. Remember them? Good! In this lesson, we'll move on to two more letters, see how they are written, and what we can do with them. Our first letter this time is taf. It's a consonant, and its sound is t. You may have heard it called tau, which is its usual name in English. I'm sure its uppercase form will seem very familiar since it's the same as the English T. This is what taf looks like in uppercase and lowercase. Taf. Taf. Here is taf in uppercase. You should already be an expert at this shape. It is handwritten like this. Taf. And this is what the lowercase taf looks like when it's printed. I think it's easier than the lowercase t in English since it's just an uppercase T but smaller. When it is handwritten, the shape looks a little different, like this. Taf. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form, and here's the lowercase form. Did you get it? I'm sure you already knew how to write this, didn't you? Let's move on to our second letter for this lesson. This is a vowel that you may have heard called iota. In Greek, though, it is called iota, and it makes the sound E. Again, this will look very familiar since its appearance is the same as the English I. This is what the uppercase iota looks like. As I said before, it's exactly the same as the English I. It is handwritten like this. Iota. And this is what the lowercase iota looks like. Iota. Notice how the bottom curves slightly when it's handwritten. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form, and here's the lowercase form. All these were pretty easy, weren't they? Let's see what we can do with them. By themselves, taf and iota spell only one word in Greek, ti. Even though it's a very small word, it's very important and used all the time in Greek because it means what?
For example, the first word in the question, τι ώρα είναι, which means what time is it? Other examples of its use are τι θα φάμε or what will we eat? This word is also used in τι κάνεις, which means how are you? So let's write this very important two-letter word, τι. Since these were super easy, let's try something using all four letters we know. Do you remember the first two? They were alpha and mi, right? Let's say them once again. And if we put these two together with taf and yota, what do we have? Mati, which means eye. Easy, huh? And if we add another alpha in the end, we get matya, which is the plural of eye, eyes. Let's write this together. Matya. Now it's time for Stefania's insights. As we said in our previous lesson, the best way to master the alfabito, the Greek alphabet, is by writing it as much as you can. So please don't neglect this. Another great help would be to start trying to recognize the letters you've learned so far in Greek texts. If you can't find any text, you can always check out the transcripts on GreekPod101.com's advanced audio blog lessons. Don't worry if you can't understand the words yet, you will be able to practice recognizing the letters you learn in here. That's it for this lesson. Do you know how to write OK in Greek? Check our next lesson and see for yourselves. It won't be difficult. See you in the next Alphabito Made Easy lesson. Γεια χαρά!
Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase συγγνώμη, μιλάτε αγγλικά. Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word συγγνώμη, which means excuse me in Greek. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use συγγνώμη and other words when apologizing in Greek. We should use συγγνώμη in formal situations such as when we are ordering something in bars or restaurants. For example, συγγνώμη, ένα καφέ παρακαλώ. Excuse me, a coffee please. We can also use it when asking a question. συγγνώμη, πού είναι η Ακρόπολη? Excuse me, where is the Acropolis? Sometimes we also hear people say παρακαλώ, which literally means please or I beg, but means the same thing as συγγνώμη when you want to draw somebody's attention. We always use this phrase in formal speech. Παρακαλώ. The informal way to say excuse me is με συγχωρείτε. Με συγχωρείτε. Just like συγγνώμη, we can use με συγχωρείτε when asking a question or when apologizing. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is λυπάμαι. It means I'm sorry or I'm sad and can be used in both formal and informal situations. λυπάμαι. Like in other cases we have seen, the verb λυπάμαι, I'm sad or I'm sorry, is used without the personal pronoun εγώ, I. By just saying the verb, the listener understands you are talking about yourself. Now it's time for Chrissy's insights. Please remember that in Greece, if you accidentally bump into someone, you don't say, I'm sorry, λυπάμαι. Instead, we say συγγνώμη, excuse me, or με συγχωρείτε, forgive me. Are you able to count in Greek? In the next lesson, we will learn the numbers in Greek from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in our next ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10. Have you forgotten? Here, I'll tell you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now let's continue from 11. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19. And finally, we have 20, 20. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. These numbers may seem harder to remember, but you really just have to memorize 11, 12, and 20. All other numbers are a combination of 10, which means 10, and the numbers from 3 to 9. It's like saying 10, 3, 10, 4, etc. Let's not stop at 20. Counting to 100 is super easy. Now I'll give you the tens. 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. You'll have to memorize these numbers, but the good news is creating compound numbers is very easy. They are formed by putting the tens in front of the single digits. This means, for example, that 34 is 34 and 87 is 87. Yes, that's right. Exactly like English. Let's try those combinations. 34, 34, 87, 87. Got it? I told you it was really easy. Now it's time for Chris's Insights. The pronunciation we have used in this and the previous lesson is the standard pronunciation for numbers. Sometimes, though, especially in casual conversation, Greeks also use efta instead of epta, ochto instead of okto, and ennia instead of enea. So if you notice someone using these words, don't be surprised. They're exactly the same as the ones you have learned. Actually, yours are more correct. After only 2 lessons, you are now able to count to 100 in Greek. Isn't that great? So let's go to the next lesson and see how we can use these numbers in their natural environment. That is, shopping. I'll be waiting for you in our next Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα.
Hi everybody, this is Stefania. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Alphabet Made Easy, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn the Greek alphabet, the alphabito. In our previous lessons, we covered 8 letters of the Greek alphabet. Do you remember them? They were alpha, mi, taf, iota, kappa, omicron, pi, and sigma, right? Some of these letters were very familiar to English speakers, and a couple of them were new. I'm sure that you didn't have any problem remembering and writing them, so in this lesson we will learn 2 more, one very familiar and one rather exotic. Our first letter is a vowel, ita, which makes an E sound. Like I said before, the writing will look familiar, at least in the uppercase form, since it's the same as the English H. The uppercase ita is handwritten like this. Ita. And this is what the lowercase ita looks like. It kind of looks like a lowercase h, but with the vertical line shortened. It is handwritten like this. Ita. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form. And here's the lowercase form. This character is pretty easy, since the similarities to the English H are big, aren't they? So let's step up the difficulty with our second letter, the strange-looking psi. You may have heard it in English called psi. There is no corresponding sound in English. It makes a ps sound, like P and S said at the same time. Here's the uppercase psi. It looks like the trident, the symbol of the Greek god of the sea, Poseidon, doesn't it? If you ever forget how to pronounce this letter, just remember, psi is for Poseidon and his trident. It is handwritten like this. Psi. And this is what the lowercase psi looks like. It's the same as the uppercase psi, but written lower on the line with the vertical line going below it. It is handwritten like this. Psi. Let's do it again. Here's the uppercase form. And here's the lowercase form. Did you get it? It's not so hard, right? You just write something like a U and then add a vertical line. We now know 10 letters. That's almost half of the Greek alphabet, and the possibilities for new words increase exponentially with each new letter. Let's try our hand in 3 new words, all using the exotic psi. Let's have a look at them. The first is psito, meaning roast, as in psitokreas or roast meat. Let's write this together. Psito. Not that hard, is it? And speaking of psito, or roast, what do you need to put it in the oven? A tapsi, or pan. Let's write this one. Tapsi. Do you feel up for something a little more complicated? How about the word elegant? In Greek, this is komψos. And even though writing it isn't that hard, saying it is a little tricky, since you have to combine the m and the ps sounds. For the moment though, let's concentrate on the writing part. Komψos. One grammatical note. Κομψός is masculine, so you can use it only for masculine nouns. For feminine nouns, it would be κομψή, while for neutral nouns, κομψό. Let's do a brief recap of everything we learned so far. We have alpha, mi, taf, iota, kappa, omicron, pi, sigma, eta, and psi. Okay? Now it's time for Stefania's insights. You might have noticed that this lesson's eta sounds exactly like the iota we learned in lesson 2. Why is that? Well, it has to do with the complicated history of eta. At first, it is generally believed to be pronounced like a long version of epsilon and sounded like e. After the classical period, however, its sound started to change and merged with iota, as did another letter. Trust me, you don't want me to go on. Just learn them as e, like all Greeks, and you'll be perfectly fine. So, do you want to learn how to write the name of our home planet? In this lesson, you learn how to write half of it. In our next Alphabito Made Easy lesson, you will learn the other half. Don't miss it. Γεια χαρά!
Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Greek. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Είστε έτοιμοι? Are you ready? Ξεκινάμε, so let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It is just one word. Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ means thanks. When saying thanks very much, you just need to add πολύ. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Πολύ means a lot, so ευχαριστώ πολύ is like saying thanks very much. During the last lesson, we talked about both the informal and the formal way of speaking Greek. Ευχαριστώ is a casual way to thank someone. If you want to be more formal, there is another phrase you should use. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ or σε ευχαριστώ πολύ. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ or σε ευχαριστώ πολύ. Let's break this phrase down. The σε or σας before ευχαριστώ πολύ literally means you in the second person singular and the second person plural, which is the form used for being formal in Greek. In the plain ευχαριστώ there is no you included, but here we use it and make the phrase sound more polite. Depending on the formality of the situation, we will use σε or σας. How do you answer? It's easy. There are basically two different ways to do it. The first is τίποτα. Τίποτα. Τίποτα literally means it's nothing, but it is the equivalent of you are welcome. The other way to say you're welcome is the expression παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ. Literally, this phrase means I beg or please, but it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone says ευχαριστώ to you, we can simply reply with τίποτα or παρακαλώ. Now it's time for Chris's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use ευχαριστώ or σας ευχαριστώ πολύ, keeping it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Ευχαριστώ can be used with just about anyone, anywhere, and at any time. Do you know what addio means? In our next lesson, you'll learn this and other greetings in Greek. Addio και ευχαριστώ. Ραντεβού στο επόμενο μάθημα. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. Hi, I'm Chrissy. Pleased to meet you. In this series, we are going to learn basic Greek expressions. It is super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to introduce yourself in Greek. There are only 2 sentences you need to do it, but first it is important to clarify that in Greek, there is a difference between formal and informal language. Let's first see how Greek people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. Hi, I'm Chrissy. Pleased to meet you. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. Start by saying γεια, λέγομαι, then say your name. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Finally, say χαίρομαι πολύ. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. And now let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Χαίρετε, λέγομαι Χρυσή Παπαδοπούλου. Χαίρομαι πολύ για τη γνωριμία. Hello, my name is Chrissy Papadopoulou. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Χαίρετε, λέγομαι Χρυσή Παπαδοπούλου. Χαίρομαι πολύ για τη γνωριμία. So what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at this together. Ya has been substituted with the formal greeting χαίρετε, Greek for rejoice. Λέγομαι Χρυσή has not been changed. Λέγομαι stands in both cases for my name is. However, during a formal self-introduction, we also say our last name. So I said Χρυσή Papadopoulou. Here, you would say your full name. Finally, there is one more change to the ending. We added the words για τη γνωριμία to the phrase χαίρομαι πολύ. In informal cases, we can just say χαίρομαι πολύ, literally, I'm happy or pleased. But in formal cases, it's good to add για τη γνωριμία, which is Greek for the acquaintance, or in this case, your acquaintance. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in Greek is γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή, χαίρομαι πολύ. The formal way to introduce yourself is χαίρετε, λέγομαι Χρυσή Παπαδοπούλου, χαίρομαι πολύ για τη γνωριμία. Now it's time for Chrissy's insights. Greek people usually shake hands when they meet someone, sometimes extremely vigorously. So accompany your introduction with your best firm handshake. And if you're not sure if you have to use the formal or the informal greeting χαίρομαι πολύ is not considered rude. It is acceptable and used widely even in formal situations. Do you know how we say thank you in Greek? You'll learn how to say this and many other words in the next lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα. See you then! Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Greek. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you are asking it in Greek, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here is the informal way to say it. Μιλάς αγγλικά? Μιλάς αγγλικά? Μιλάς is to speak, and αγγλικά is English. In Greek, verbs change depending on who the subject is. The word μιλάς is conjugated from the verb μιλάω, which means to speak. By the ending s, we understand this is the second person singular. This is the informal way to say you speak. You will notice that the personal pronoun itself, the word you, is missing. This happens very often in Greek. Because the verb ending changes depending on the subject, you don't need to actually say the subject in order to be understood. To learn how to properly conjugate omega verbs like milao, please look at our Absolute Beginner series on GreekPod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. We are now going to make the sentence formal. This is done by using the formal version of you, which is essis. If we change the word for you, we will conjugate milao differently. It becomes milate. Everything else stays the same. Milate αγγλικά. Milate αγγλικά. Adding signomi, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Signomi, μιλάτε αγγλικά. Signomi, μιλάτε αγγλικά. The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Ναι, yes. Ναι. Λίγο, a little. Λίγο. Όχι, δεν μιλάω αγγλικά. No, I don't speak English. Όχι, δεν μιλάω αγγλικά. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say then or the before the verb μιλάω. Here you can also notice what we mentioned before. The personal pronoun εγώ, that is, I, is not used since the ending of the verb shows that it is the first person. Now it's time for Chris's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Greek people study other European languages, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute Αγγλικά with Italica for Italian, Ρώσικα for Russian, Hispanica for Spanish, Germanica for German. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression signomi. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Greek. It's never too late to show your good manners with Greek people. I'll see you in our next Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Γεια! Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In our last lesson, we learned how to use signomi, με συγχωρείτε, and λυπάμαι when apologizing in Greek. In this lesson, we are going to learn something even more practical, how to count from 1 to 10 in Greek. And we'll learn them all in 3 minutes. 3 λεπτά. Are you ready? Let's start. 1. 1. 2. 2. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. 6. 6. 7. 7. 8. 8. 9. 9. 10. 10. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Great job! What is before ένα? Do you know? Yes, it's 0. In Greek, it's μηδέν. Μηδέν. So now, you can count pretty much anything and do other useful stuff like giving your friends your cell phone number and writing down theirs. Let's see how to do that in Greek. We'll use the phrase ο αριθμός μου είναι, which means my number is. Ο αριθμός μου είναι. Ο αριθμός μου είναι. 6, 9, 7, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0. Can you read it by yourself? 6, 9, 7, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0. Okay? Great! Now it's time for Chris's insights. Like most words in Greek, numbers are gender sensitive. The numbers we learn today are used when counting neuter objects. The masculine and feminine numbers are almost the same, but with slight differences for the numbers 1 through 4. We won't get into this for now, since with the neuter numbers, you can do most things. Even if you use the wrong gender, Greeks will understand you. Do you know the Greek word for 100? If you don't worry. In the next lesson, we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100 in Greek. Your task now is to practice the numbers we studied in this lesson from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in our next ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα.
Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Greek. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Είστε έτοιμοι? Are you ready? Ξεκινάμε, so let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It is just one word. Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ means thanks. When saying thanks very much, you just need to add πολύ. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Πολύ means a lot, so ευχαριστώ πολύ is like saying thanks very much. During the last lesson, we talked about both the informal and the formal way of speaking Greek. Ευχαριστώ is a casual way to thank someone. If you want to be more formal, there is another phrase you should use. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ or σε ευχαριστώ πολύ. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ or σε ευχαριστώ πολύ. Let's break this phrase down. The σε or σας before ευχαριστώ πολύ literally means you in the second person singular and the second person plural, which is the form used for being formal in Greek. In the plain ευχαριστώ there is no you included, but here we use it and make the phrase sound more polite. Depending on the formality of the situation, we will use σε or σας. How do you answer? It's easy. There are basically two different ways to do it. The first is τίποτα. Τίποτα. Τίποτα literally means it's nothing, but it is the equivalent of you are welcome. The other way to say you're welcome is the expression παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ. Literally, this phrase means I beg or please, but it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone says ευχαριστώ to you, we can simply reply with τίποτα or παρακαλώ. Now it's time for Chris's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use ευχαριστώ or σας ευχαριστώ πολύ, keeping it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Ευχαριστώ can be used with just about anyone, anywhere, and at any time. Do you know what addio means? In our next lesson, you learn this and other greetings in Greek. Addio και ευχαριστώ. Ραντεβού στο επόμενο μάθημα.
Want to speed up your language learning?
Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.